Well, hello everyone. Happy Friday. Happy end of month. We're doing everything. And if you're out there right now watching, first off, thank you. I know that it's end of month and it's end of month and things are crazy. And Scott Risley, who is with me today, has generously decided to be like, hey, I'm going to come join you, Brooke. And I really, really appreciate Scott, you being with me here. I can't even say it right. It's an end of month and it's a Friday. Thank you for spending the time with me, Scott. I super, super appreciate. I can't even get the words out, Scott. Like, I need to change whatever's in this mug right now to something stronger because I can't talk, Scott. So, how are you doing today, Scott?
Well, you're not supposed to drink this early. That's what it is.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, especially on a
Yeah.
Friday, is what I'm thinking right now. So I
Can't
don't
drink all
know.
day if you don't start in the morning, right?
That's right. Today we have Scott Risley with us. He is the I'm going to say digital marketing guru for Mohawk Auto, which is Mohawk Chevrolet and Mohawk Honda. And I gotta, before we go any further, I do have to get into a quick story of how I first met you, Scott. It was back, I want to say, has it been 2 years or 3 years? I think it was like
Um,
DMSC.
it was 2 years.
So it was 2 years ago. I'm asked to speak alongside Sarah from PCG, and we're talking about the craziness of iOS 14 and that fun-filled adventure that actually led us all to drinking. And we're talking, and you happened to raise your hand, and you were super engaged, and you were actually contributing, and I so appreciate it. I was like, oh, this guy, he knows what he's talking about. And I asked you a question, and you start talking about Mohawk Honda, and you go in a little bit further, and then decide, oh yeah, we have an entire team. We have a team for this, a team for social. I literally stopped mid teaching and looked at you, and I just go, okay, I want to come work for you. I want to come work for your dealership. I was so blown away, not only by you and your knowledge, but how everything at Mohawk was set up, the processes, and how much emphasis is put on not just social, but marketing and digital marketing. I just go, somebody gets it. Oh my gosh, thank you, Mohawk, for getting it. So before we get into this, I just thank you for what you're doing. And Nate, you guys are just doing a phenomenal job. And I just want to praise you all. And I actually tell we were just talking offline, any one of my clients that says, I'm not really sure what to do with social, what to do with digital marketing, or what to do. I just go follow them. Go follow Mohawk, and they'll know exactly what to do. So I don't know if you knew that story, and I just want to make sure to tell you, just thank you for not only contributing, but what you're doing and the team that you have around you. I mean, you are leading this automotive, and what you're posting on social media, not just on Mohawk, but your own personal channel. Man, you are a good human. You're one of the good ones, Scott. So thank you so much. So I just had to make sure were aware of that. So thank you.
Thank you. And it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't happen without a team. Everything is a team effort. It's not one individual or anything like that. So we're happy to have a very good team behind us here.
Yes, and cut to segue here, and I don't have another cool little like segue of little Paul's head jumping around here, but it's cut to with that whole team mentality. Today we're talking about partners and vendors and which provides a better value. And this is something that keeps me up at night, and I will get on a soapbox and get my blood boils. You kind of see the hairs on my neck stand up because I get really passionate about this. So when you brought this up and you're like, hey, I want to talk about this, I was like, oh, yes, please. I'm all for this. I'm all for this. Because a lot of times people think, oh, hey, yeah, I'm a business partner or I'm a vendor. And I go, but are you? Let's talk about that for a little bit. So talk a little bit about what makes a good partner in your mind, and the people that you work with, how are you vetting them? I'm going to turn the mic over to you a little bit because that is what you're doing day in and day out at the dealership level. So I'm going to just let you have the floor on this one.
I mean, to me, it's something that right from the beginning, it needs to be a two-way street. It's not where, it's just, okay, what can they do for me? Or, that kind of thing, or they're, just taking everything they can from us. It's, when, just right from the beginning, when you're doing the demo, are they listening to the questions that you're asking and answering them attentively? Or are they just giving you what you can tell are canned answers? Do they know what they're talking about? I mean, the biggest red flag in the world when you're on a demo is somebody says, "Oh, I have to check on that and get back to you." Immediately, that's a red check mark on the piece of paper. If you're on a demo, you should know your product inside and out. And you know, if I ask a question and I know it's not something that somebody would normally ask, okay, great. Like if you've got to get back to me, that's fine. But let's have a conversation about it. Don't just say, "Oh, I got to get back to you," and then breeze past it and try and move on to the next shiny thing. But
Yes.
having that two-way street is something that's very important to me.
And I'll say with that is when you're listening, are you listening with with the intent to hear the person, not just, oh, I hear you, but let me tell you my opinion on the matter. No, then you're not listening to me. You're listening with intent to rebuttal me. Also, when you're demoing someone, respect the person's time. Please respect. If the demo is supposed to take 30 minutes, do it in 30 minutes. If you can do it in 20 minutes, great. Don't take an hour to do it. Get to the point. Please, for the love, get to the point. It shouldn't take you an hour to demo if it's supposed to take you 30 minutes because Scott's really busy. He is going to respect your time. He's very, very busy. And if you're in the dealership, you're taking 300 phone calls and you have 300 emails. Respect the person's time. So, what is the key in your mind, the differences between a partner and vendor when you're, I'll just leave it at that. What's the difference between them?
I mean, the big thing for me is if I throw an idea out there, a partner's going to take it and run with it and say, "Okay, you've got a problem. Let's figure out how we can solve this, and let's hop on a call and let's figure this out." I've got multiple of them that I've done that with in the past couple months. One of which developed a new product from an idea that I brought up to them last year at Digital Dealer that we're helping them work on. So it's one of those things where both sides can add value. And I think when both sides add value, then when it gets to the point where I need help and that I brought a ton of value to the table and I've helped you with stuff, if I need something at 7 o'clock on a Friday and I call you, you're going to answer the phone because I'm not calling you just to bring some stupid idea that I could have figured out myself or that I'm too lazy to do. That I'm calling you because I actually need something, and you're going to answer the phone because I've tried everything else.
And that communication is so key on that. As you bring that up, is that whether you're on the agency side or you're the dealership side, communicating. If you're on the dealership side and you're not communicating with, and I'm going to bring this up here, April, you're very true on this. It's a two-way street here. It's not a set and forget it. And once you say, "Hey, I have vetted everything. I know this is the person with whom I'm going to partner." Partner is a very, very key word there in your daily lives. Hey, I'm in a relationship with this person, whether it's your friendship, I've chosen this friendship and my friends are, I'm in a relationship with my friends or your spouse or whomever. That's your relationship. And communicating, if you just say, "You know what, I'm never going to talk to this person again." Okay, at both sides, if you're on the agency side and the vendor, or the agency side and your dealership side, that relationship is never going to last. You have to communicate with your agency. This is what I want out of it. This is what we're looking to go. We want to try this. And from the agency side, same thing. Are you just checking boxes and be like, "Oh, well, all right, it's time for a monthly call. So we're going to have this monthly call." Well, don't have it then because you're not providing any value to the dealership. And dealership plan, same thing. Don't just get on the call and be like, "All right, tell us what's going on." You've got to provide value from both ways. And exactly, it's a two-way street. So I love that you brought that up. All right, so when you're going into those meetings, how do you get the most out of those meetings when you're having that conversation with your business partners?
I mean, I think it's, right from the beginning, like you said, it's expectation setting. And, okay, if, for example, with our marketing agency, I have biweekly meetings set up on Wednesday at noon. And we meet every 2 weeks, Wednesday at noon. That's when we meet. That's when we go over, mid-month results or last month's results, depending on where in the month the call falls. But it's also, from the beginning, making sure that you're giving them permission to hold you accountable. Because that two-way street has to be on accountability as well. If we're not doing something right on our end, tell us about it. Don't just sit there and say, "Oh, well, look, we're doing everything right on our end. The dealer's the one that's messing up. So, if this doesn't work, it's on them." No, if we're messing up, tell us. We want to know, that we're partnering together. That's, if you partner with somebody in business and you each own part of the business, then you're both vested in the business.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, if you're a vendor partner that's not holding somebody accountable, all you're doing is hurting yourself in the long run, because when it comes down to having that conversation of this isn't working, well, you brought it upon yourself because you didn't hold us accountable to do what we said we were going to do from the beginning.
Yeah, and if you're not go with the whole thing, you've got to inspect what you expect out of this. So if you're not saying, all right, at the dealership level, hey, I know you're a partner. I also know that you're human. And because I'm human, you're human. We're all going to make mistakes. So in order to do that, let's all get better together. So I'm going to inspect, which I expect. I'm expecting you to do this. Do we do this? Okay, as an agency, hey, I'm human. I screwed up. When you screw up, own up to it. I think for some reason, not think, I know that there's this, man, I can't tell them I screwed up. Oh, they're going to fire me. No, no. If it's an honest mistake, just the opposite's going to happen. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Dealer, hey, if it's an honest mistake that you screwed up, own up to it. Secondly, you know what? We were going for this. We fell short. Not the end of the world. Here's why we fell short. Maybe it was at the end of the day, maybe not at the end of the day, maybe it was you just didn't have cars. We can't control you not having cars. Or maybe, you know what, we were planning for this, but we fell short on here. Or at the dealership level, you know, you guys, we actually need you to be organically posting more. You're just you can't expect at an agency level for them to do all this amazing stuff and all the awesome stuff. And when it gets to the store, the copy, all the advertising is correct. But in house, the process is not great. So you can spend all you want, but if the process isn't great in store, all that money is wasted. So you have to say, okay, are we both holding each other accountable? And if you're not, once again, you've got to inspect what you expect. So both parties have to hold each other accountable, and then just be transparent and not go back to the facts, not feelings. Hence the name of the show is saying, okay, did both parties do what they were supposed to? And if you still fell short, let's dive in and figure out what went wrong. And then learn from it. Learn from it. It could be something out of your control. Hey, right now, Florida, everyone right now, side note, we should talk at the very beginning. I apologize, and I'll throw it up here, is that thoughts and everyone to Florida. We've got, where did it go here? Right here, all those impacted by Hurricane Ian. I apologize, but this should have been at the top of the show here. Link up here. All of these foundations and organizations have been vetted by ABC News. We've got all the GoFundMes were vetted, and then it's got the couple other ones here. Definitely go check them. You know, give all thoughts and prayers, whatever your belief system is, good vibes to everyone in Florida. There's no way to transition from that. So back to it is just you got to inspect. I mean, it really, that I cannot stress that enough, is that saying that, I don't want to go back to them. And Scott, I'll ask you as a dealer, I know I've been on the same side, is that when someone comes to you and say, hey, we screwed up, what's your initial thought to that? If they come to you and they're honest to you about that?
Okay, what happened and how do we prevent it from happening again? You know what I mean? It's all in the relationship, I think, too. You know, we're all relationship based people. It's something where you want to have that strong relationship, whichever side of the fence you're on. You want to have a strong enough relationship to where you can own up to those mistakes and say, okay, or, you know, if you're not even owning up to mistakes, just, you know, being able to set the ego aside and listen to somebody else's viewpoint. Because at the end of the day, we all have different experiences and we all know different things and see things from a different point of view. And we grow by listening to others and learning from others' experience. So if I say I want to do something and you've seen it fall on its face before, I want to have that relationship to where you're comfortable saying, hey, well, hold up a minute. Let's, you know, try this before. Here's what happened. Let's try something else.
Yes. And when you've got all these tools out there, and you've got an agency that you're looking at, and you've decided to fall, you know, hey, we've landed on this agency and we've decided on this business partner. One thing that I'm really key on is to go back and say, okay, shorten it down to a few actionable items. There are a lot of great companies out there. There are a lot of great tools out there. And I think for me, at least, narrowing it down to those actionable items. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Dealer, here's all this stuff. And there's so many things that are being thrown at dealers just to say, boom, 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 boom. Here are actionable items. This is how you take all this mumbo jumbo, and this is what you got to do, versus just inundating them with a bunch of crap. And I know that's not a great technical term, but don't go all into depth and the weeds. And there are certain people that want to get into the weeds, but when it comes back to a report, just get to the point and say, hey, great, this is what happens. Here's where you can take all this gobbledygook and techie stuff. Here's what you can do, and this is how you can make more money. This is where we maybe fell short. Here's how we can do better, and just get to the point. So that's something, at least for me, that I found a lot, that like whether it's I'm helping someone or being in the dealership, that for me, and maybe with you can speak to this, Scott. Is that something from you? Do you find it better to have just a quick bullet points once it's all done to report back to your GM, or would you rather get into the weeds?
So I mean, I'm more of a in the weeds guy myself. Just being able to dive in and find out why things are working and what's going on, the inner workings of it. And then at that point, I'll when I'm reporting back on it, I'll get those bullet points together and you know stay out of the crap, as you say.
Very
But
technical term. Very
yeah,
technical.
very technical, NASA grade. But just kind of I like to know why things are working, why they're not working, that kind of thing. Okay, if it's not working, is it something small that's causing it not to work? That if we make a small change, or is the whole thing screwed up? So it's once you get down technical and you start talking things out, all of a sudden somebody might catch something small that's the whole reason that it's not working, and then you're not starting over.
Yeah, and I want to stop for a quick second on what Steve just said here. We spend valuable time with dealers and other industry partners learning, reviewing, and inspiring what's next from every perspective, including the customer. If we're truly one on one mission together, we should be engaging each other in that way. And it's so true. And whether you're thinking, hey, what's next, but just engaging and connecting everything. And one is Stephen is anyone that knows Stephen is connecting the disconnected and constantly thinking, okay, what's next, what's now. And so Steve, thank you so much for throwing out there. Really appreciate that. It's very, very true. Yeah. We got another. So yeah. So going on to that, when you're looking at with a couple off of that, is that just making sure all parties are involved. I mean, you're juggling a team, then you've got to report back to the higher ups and just keeping everyone involved. How have you found that's the best way to keep all parties involved, including all your business partners?
I mean, I think it's one of those things that figuring out what's okay, where are the wins, where are the losses, and for lack of better terms, if we want to keep on the side of technical terms, when you're reporting back, just skipping the pregnancy and giving them the baby and saying, okay, here's what happened. We tried this, here's what happened. And then at that point, if they have more questions, great. If not, move on. Because once you're getting up into managers and directors and that kind of thing, you start talking to them, if they want to know more, they're going to ask. So have the data to back it up, but don't sit there and regurgitate it all. If they ask for it, have it ready to go. But if they don't ask for it, don't sit there and bury them in papers.
So on kind of transitioning from that a little bit is that when you're whatever you do as a business partner, one of my many pet peeves being at the dealership was, yeah, so we're going to need to increase budget next month, and the next month, oh, we need you to add this add-on, and the next month, oh, we need to increase this, and every single month, and regardless if the store was doing better or if they lost money or they whatever, I would see that it wouldn't matter if it was an ad agency, it could be a tool that was for whatever it may be, insert product, whatever, and each month they would come back and say, oh, we need to increase whatever, and I just go, have you looked at the data? Because if you're saying we need to increase every single month, there's an issue. So why is it that you feel that we need, because at that point you feel you need to increase each month, there's no data to back that up. So why is it you need to do that? Be resourceful on what you already have. You have all these tools and there's ways to repurpose them. So why do you feel that you need to repurpose that? So I want you to speak a little bit, and you guys do such a wonderful job at being creative and thinking outside the box and having partners that do that. I want you to speak a little bit about that, Scott.
I mean, I think the biggest, we talk about red flags and stuff like that. The biggest good red flag for me is a partner that can come to me and say, hey, if we do this, we can actually cut budgets. Or, hey, why don't we try dialing this back and seeing what happens? Because at the end of the day, it shows that they have your best interest in mind. But I mean, I think it's, finding those partners that are willing to truly partner with you on that and say, hey, look, if we do this, we'll have to spend a little bit more money now, but it's going to enable us to save money long term. I have a couple partners that literally, I won't mention any names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but have literally, when I've gone to them saying, hey, I want to try and spend more here, they said, don't. And, they're few and far between. So when you can find them, just, bring them into the fold and kind of keep them there
Yeah.
because, those are the ones that have your best interest at heart. And that's hard to find these days.
Yes. I if I had like a mic, I'm just like mic drop right there. It is so true. I was speaking with Larry Feldman this morning. Actually, I spoke to Larry, I think like 3 or 4 times this morning, and we were discussing that how some people and companies will preach, and I will say, bang on their chest a million times about how great a product is or how great their service is, and when you actually dive into it, either it doesn't do that or it's, well, and actually, in order to get that, you've got to up this and up this and up this. It's like, well, what's the point of it? Because you're not protecting the dealer. You're not looking at the dealer's best interest. All you're looking to do is get into their pocketbook. And that's not the way to do it. And who's there to really protect the dealership at the end of the day? Like that's not, it may work for the short term for them and they may get some money. But you really have to be careful and who you decide to partner with to make sure that is a good partnership. And I just said partner like 15 times there. So have to go back and count that and maybe make that the title of the partner and partner at that point. But yeah, I love that.
Well, you can make it a drinking game. You can watch the replay and you can take a sip every time you say partner.
Right. Forget the buzzword bingo. We just became partner bingo at this point. So, but it is really look to see, okay, does this person have my best interest in mind? Or are they looking to sell me on something? Mm-hmm. It's, yeah. And we all know, well, we should know at this point who, if they are not. So
it's the same thing as the quote that says, you can judge people's character by how they treat somebody that can do nothing for them. So, okay, yep. How are they treating you when you're not going to give them any more money?
Mm-hmm. I even like this kind of like brings back a little bit of like PTSD from COVID, where you saw companies, okay, we're going to give you a great deal during COVID. We're going to cut. You don't have to do anything. And then all of a sudden you saw, well, we lost so much money during COVID, so now we're going to jack up your prices. Hold on, what? I saw everybody was like, okay, we're going to jack up your price and we're going to add this fee and this fee and this fee because we gave you a discount. So then why did you ever give me the discount? Like, what's the point? Because now you just made not only what you got back, but like tenfold that. So are you really a partner at that point? I probably not. So just be very careful. There's, I don't know if it's a fable, it's whatever it is, but the snake thing, you knew what it was when you picked it up. So just be very, very careful of that. You had sent up something over about, and I saw the little bullet point you sent over, and I want you to speak on this. And you said, if your network is your net worth, why are you burning money? And I'm just going to let that there and have you go with it.
Yeah, I think it's, it goes along the line with, like we said, with vendor partners. But, if you've got people that aren't pulling their weight that you're partnered with, why are they still there? You know what I mean? It's, at the end of the day, you're not going to sit home and pay for oil to be delivered at your house when you switched to natural gas last year. So, are you going through and are you auditing everything that you're paying for currently? And, are you keeping your website clean, for example? One thing I do is I'll go in every 60 or 90 days and I'll do an audit with our website company of what scripts and what pixels are on the site. Clean those out. Don't, if you're not partnered with somebody, don't sit there and give them all your data, but also, always be on the lookout to find people that'll be good new partners. You know what I mean? Don't turn down a conversation with somebody just because you're not necessarily looking for what they have to offer right now, because you never know when you might be, and you never know when taking that one demo might stimulate something in your mind that all of a sudden now you can do more with what you have.
Love it. April, I'm not sure if you're still live with us, but April made a comment I'm going to put back up here, and she said, if you don't, you may like the product, but you don't drive with the reps, so speak up. So I want to just echo that. You may have a product that's phenomenal, and it may be the best thing since sliced bread. And it actually may be, not that they said it was because it was at a 20 group and it was the coolest thing. And so then it really didn't do that. You actually may have a great product, but that personality just might not mesh. Scott, has that ever happened to you?
Yep.
What'd you do?
Asked for a new rep.
Yes.
And
Please.
when they first pushed back, I just, went above that guy's head, and, we eventually got a new rep.
Yes.
You know, if they're not cutting the mustard, you just say to them, hey, listen, either you're going to give me a new rep or you're putting our entire relationship in jeopardy here.
Yes.
So which do you want to do?
Yeah, it's very, very key, and keep pushing for that, because otherwise, not only are you going to lose the product, but if it really is as good as it really is, it is worth it to keep pushing back on that. Personalities just don't match sometimes. It's not everyone likes me. Believe me, I'm on social media. Believe me, I hear the people that don't like me. Like, not everyone likes me, and that's okay. So find the personality that meshes the best with you, so you get the most out of that product. I want to also add to that is that keep asking questions on the product, especially for if it's a newer product, that it may do something that you don't know it does, or only the owner or the developer knows that it does that thing. So keep asking questions, get into the nitty gritty. Obviously, Scott and I like to get into the weeds of like, okay, does it do this and this? Give me every report possible. Be the expert on that product. There was a long time ago, I heard someone say, hey, being at a dealership, man, you get to know everything about everything. Like, take advantage of that. And so take advantage of knowing everything about every single tool that you have. I know that seems very daunting, but take it one step at a time. So with that new product that is the coolest thing ever, become the product expert on it and just keep asking questions, because it may do what, hey, well, I was told it doesn't do that. Well, does it really not do that? Keep asking questions.
But I mean, here's the thing too, is that at the end of the day, by asking those questions, it could make your life easier. I mean, I had somebody reach out to me last week with a problem where their Google VLAs kept getting rejected for image frames, and their owner was dead set on not taking image frames off of their cars on their website. They didn't think to call HomeNet and set up another feed that went out just to Google with no image frames.
Yeah.
But by knowing kind of the ins and outs and the nuances of stuff, you can make your life a lot easier too. You know what I mean? Because at the same time, for example, most people don't realize, hey, you can set up a second or third image feed for your Facebook photos, where you can say to your IMS, hey, only feed vehicles to Facebook that have more than 2 photos, so that you're not paying to advertise cars that say photo coming soon. It's just thinking outside the box.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And there's so many examples of whether you have, okay, maybe you were oversold on a product. And so you bought a product because you thought it did this because someone promised you that, and then it didn't really do that. Okay, that's a whole other thing. And we've all been oversold on a product. We all have. We all know it. It's just getting down to, okay, does it do this? And like Scott said, getting down to, I mean, I can tell you how many times I have known more about a product than the person's actually work for the company, but knowing about that, because you can take, hey, did you actually know that your product does this? Nope, I did not. Well, let me show you how it does it, because now I can help you be a better whatever for the next person. But really knowing, and April has set up here, is, how many people actually cancel the product because they didn't know. And so it's because once you cancel a product, then you're on the search for something else, or you have a bad taste in your mouth about it. So knowing what it does, and that comes back to that partnership. Okay, am I at the dealership a good partner for the agency or the product? Okay, great, I am. Now, is the agency and the software a good product for us? Okay, are you doing your job? Well, I'm trying to stay up on date and stuff. Now, are they constantly trying to better themselves? Are they up on the latest and greatest? Or is their owner, and then the owner then passing it down to everybody else? It's such this nice balance to figure out, are we doing our job to be the best business partner, or are we slacking because we're, drunk on profit and we don't really care? And now you just do your job. Oh, well, the stuff didn't work. Well, why didn't it work? Well, we don't really care. We're just waiting for people to walk in the door and cut us a check. Well, that's probably why it didn't work then. So I just feel like I was so excited when you brought this topic up to me. I was like, yes, I love this topic.
Yeah, and I
Very,
mean,
very
part of that
excited.
responsibility, like I said earlier, is building the relationship with the rep that you're working with at that company, because you got to realize that that rep for you is an ally. If you need something, they're your ally, and the more bought in they are to how you're doing business, when you need something and they can't help with it, the more they're going to push back on their end to get it done for you.
Yes, and I love that is the whether it's the website, whether it's the CRM, whether it's whatever, if they don't like you or just see you as they don't really care and they're not going to do it, they're not going to be very quick to push that ticket up through the ranks. They're not going to be very quick to, well, Brooke doesn't, she's not really invested in us. And I don't see if push came to shove that she's going to fight for us. She's never on time during the meeting. She always cancels. She has nothing to add. Why am I going to help you? You don't partner with us. So really think that through the next time you decide to treat that person like a vendor.
Don't
Really think
always
that.
ask them how to do stuff, or don't always ask them to do stuff. Ask them, hey, do I have the ability to do this? And if so, can you show me how?
Oh, and the amount of times that I would ask, and I love when people ask me how to do it because I'm like, oh, great, let me show you. Let me show you a video. And I'd be like, hey, can you send me a video on how to do this if you have the capability to, or can you send me, is there a YouTube video out there? Because I can't seem to find out how to do this. I want to know how to do it myself so I don't have to keep asking you. And just a quick unsolicited like tidbit for anyone else that's listening. When you submit any type of ticket to your website provider or it doesn't matter anywhere, if it's a ticket, include a video, include a screenshots, but a video is great because when you're on your computer's not the same as someone else. And it's a screenshot, snapshot in time that someone may not be able to replicate. So if you can send a video and show them how to do it, makes a big, big, big difference. And they're like, oh, great. No. And it makes their job so much easier. And now all of a sudden, when support sees that, oh, Brooke submitted a ticket, they're like, yes, makes my job easier. And support is so much happier and easier and quicker to respond to Brooke because Brooke makes it so much easier to answer your question. So little tidbit for people out there. Makes it easier. A lot easier. Well, Scott, it's been awesome chatting with you. What's a big takeaway? Like one takeaway you would give our audience about business partners, vendors, and just everything we're kind of talking about today?
I would say when you're vetting new partners, leverage your network. Talk to people. Talk to people you know. Find out who's used the vendor, who hasn't. Find out the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you wish you had known when you signed up? That kind of thing. It will make your demo go a lot smoother, and it will save you time. If everybody says stay away, then you should probably stay away.
There's smoke, there's fire, my friend. There's smoke, there's fire. I love it. Oh man! Before we jump the line here, I do have to bring up a couple of things here that if anyone didn't see the post over the last couple of days, that I've got April on here, so I did just jog my memory here. Is that April reached out about a week ago, and she's been on this mission to bring women together and females together. And so we are doing. I'm actually going to put this up here if I can find the right link. It's right here. Anyone that is female wise is looking to, hey, we're going to digital dealer, or we want to be a mentor or a mentee. The register link here is for the pre-Zoom call, which is October 4th. And then at digital dealer, we're going to be there as well the first day at the luncheon. I think it's a breakout. We will, myself, April, I'm going to forget people. I know I will, so I apologize. I will tag in the post later. But Laurie Halter, Sarah, Erikka Tiffani Wells, Hannah, there's just a slew, Wendy Reeves, slew of people. So we're putting that all together. April's headed this up. So April, thank you so much for that. Register here. Like I said, we'll do that as I'll post them like crazy. You can head over to my LinkedIn, Facebook, it's everywhere. So just want to make sure once again that this is up there. And then on Monday, Ian and Jeff's Auto Hub show, I'm at this point, I think that I'm kind of just living vicariously on their show at this point. So, and that one is right here is where the link is on that one. So yeah, so Monday will probably be coming in a little bit later on Monday. So just letting everybody know about that. And Kevin says, back on early topic, if the dealer partner ceases to use or get value from this solution, I think it's incumbent on a vendor partner after trying every avenue to reestablish value to to be transparent and to let them know proactively if you think they are no longer getting value and therefore should not take their money. Good thought there, Kevin. I like that. Very, very true. All right. So, Scott, it is time for the lightning round. And before the very first question, and this is not, I don't think that I've asked this question on any other show. So this one is specifically for you before we get into the actual lightning round question. What do you use for your beard care? I got to know.
I use a beard wash by a company called Suavecito out of California.
Okay. All right. I know that was a very pressing one. I'm sure the audience wanted to know that. So that's what I'm going to know first and foremost. Okay. So but more seriously, where for the audience that's listening to this and can't actually see the personalized link up here, where can the audience find you?
Mostly on Facebook or LinkedIn.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. And let's dive into what are your favorite things to do outside of work, outside of when you actually have time when you're not in the dealership?
So I've got a 3-month-old daughter at home. So, spending time with family. Me and my wife enjoy going to a lot of concerts, that kind of stuff. Just spending time with family and friends. Nothing too crazy or out there or anything like that. We live on 15 acres, kind of in the middle of nowhere. So just doing stuff around the house.
Nice. And for anyone that's not already following Scott, first off, an incredible follow. He posts, your concerts are awesome. Some of the most, like anytime I'm like having a bad day, I'm like, okay, I've got to go over to Scott's Facebook and just read some of the quotes he's posting. All right, a little bit more centered now. I'm good to go. Like Scott is a great, great, great follow. So definitely check out Scott. He's got awesome follow. He's got a brand new baby. Just awesome. So definitely follow him. All right. So what's your favorite vacation spot?
I would have to say either Nashville or Key West.
Oh, okay. Nice. And then obviously the name of the show is Facts, Not Feelings. So what do you do? How are you constantly distinguish facts from feelings in either your personal or professional life?
I think it's just, when you have to make any kind of tough decision, taking a step back before you do and looking at, the data of the situation, I guess. Data doesn't always have to be physical. Sit there and kind of rewind and, okay, you're making a decision. Okay, did this person do this intentionally or was this, am I reading it wrong? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep. All right. As a disruptor in the industry, what is the hardest or best lesson that you've learned?
That relationships are everything.
Mm.
When you feel like your back's to the wall and you've got, you need to turn to somebody to get some input on something that you can't figure out. And you have those relationships with those people that you can call and they're going to answer the phone. It's got me out of a few binds.
It is so true. And that's something, just yes to that one. Okay. What is your favorite car?
I'm a big truck guy and I drive one right now and I got it a few months ago, but I really love it. I'd have to say the Raptor.
Ooh, that's a nice one. That is nice. What color?
It's white.
Ooh, pretty. Because you post so many quotes, I got to know what's your favorite quote.
That's a pretty tough one there.
Okay, what is one of your favorite quotes? I'll go with that.
I'd have to say one of the more recent ones actually that I posted came from a relatively new Cody Johnson song. But if you've got a dream, chase it, because a dream won't chase you back.
I like it. So I'm going to end with, if you can have lunch with one person, who's it going to be?
It's hard to say, but recently, myself, because I don't get much quiet time.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that Michael has the best answer ever. Oh, that's phenomenal. I definitely ended on that one. Oh, Scott, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I so appreciate it. Everyone, stop and think if you are a vendor or your partner, if you're putting in the work to be that partner. Scott, thank you so much. And like I said, everyone, if you're not following Scott, please, you got to follow him. He's phenomenal. Continue the amazing work that you're doing. Everyone have an incredible rest of your day and close out the month strong. I know it's just madness right now. And as always, find a way to serve today. Floridians, stay safe out there. Give what you can, whether that's a good thought, whether it's prayers, good vibes, whether your belief system is. We threw up the link earlier to give any way you can. There's GoFundMe's, there's everything. And once this is done, I'll make sure to also throw that in the chat. And everyone find a way to serve, give hugs, open a door for someone, whatever it may be, but just find a way to serve today. And everyone, we will be back as always next week. Monday, we'll probably be coming a little later because I'm on their show, but I'll still be here at 1. And with that, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.